StormSmart can enhance and protect your home 365 days a year. With our smart hurricane and lifestyle products designed to keep the inside in and the outside out. And our over 100,000 plus installations, local manufacturing, comprehensive warranty, and the largest service department in the industry. Are you ready? Call now or visit stormsmart.com to schedule your free in-home consultation today and get guaranteed installation before hurricane season.
Time, weather, and highways.
How you doing, everybody? I'm Chief Meteorologist Dennis Phillips. Heat, still the hot topic of weather conversation, right? Just smashed the previous record for rainfall in Tampa. That's still a very nice day. We've got some clouds out there, even a couple of sprinkles as another front rolls through the area. Most of us wake up to sunshine and then very warm temperatures in the afternoon. Our temperatures, they're going up and they're staying up. Really nice forecast, especially if you're planning on going to the beach or the pool. Rain chances very slim. Another beautiful day in store. It's going to bring us a very high chance of storms. Some isolated showers across the area. Mother Nature likes to remind us that it isn't set by a calendar. We're always on it for you just in case things begin to pop.
Streaming from the ABC Action Weather Center in Studio A. Dennis Phillips Live. Brought to you by StormSmart. Get guaranteed installation before hurricane season.
How you doing, everybody? It is a Tuesday night edition of Dennis Phillips Live. It just made me laugh. I always look at the comments that y'all have while we're starting this, and I saw Bianca's commercials. Like, hey, Bianca, where you been? We've had commercials for years, because somebody's got to pay the bills. This is minor detail, it's all these lights and cameras. It's life, right? You know what, Anna Maria, I would like to thank you because I noticed your comment and you said hashtag ban button, and I had forgotten the ban button. So I had to run back behind the set and grab the ban button because we cannot have a DPL without a ban button. If you're new to DPL, this would be merely if you talk politics or you get rude or nasty. The ban button, and this is a truly powerful ban button because it not only bans you on this live stream, it bans you on all live streams ever from my page during hurricane season and including the afterlife. So I'm just telling you, it is a powerful button, and I appreciate Anne-Marie for reminding me because you got to have it because there are spammers out there. We've got Leanna in the house from Maine. So thanks for checking in, Leanne. As always, good to see you. Dave, Ryan, nice to see you. NPR, in other words, Newport Richie in the house with Leanne. Linda, also, good to see you. We have got Lilman in the house with Mary. So I used to call it Lilman, but it's Lelman. Not sure how that happened. Maybe the same with Pinellas or Pinellas. The locals, the old school call it Pinellas. Riverview's in the house with Debbie. Good to see you. Beth Countryside. Port Richie, Judy, as opposed to Newport Richie. We've got Inverness checking in. R.A., good to see you. Kat, nice to see you as well. Howdy to you, Kathleen. Yeah, so, when it's crazy and there's lots of weather and hurricane season's in full force, we don't have the opportunity to do the interaction. I love the interaction. Honestly, that's how DPL started. Way before Facebook Lives were a thing. We used to use a streaming software called Procaster, and it was just hours on end of banter and chit-chat and crosstalk, and I love that. And honestly, I miss that. So when there's not a lot going on, we do kind of like to have the, the interaction. Sue in Plant City, how you doing? Bianca acknowledges the paying the bills part, so thank you for understanding, Bianca. And we've got Lake Wales in the house with Denise, Waimama, Sandra. Ormond Beach, East Coast is here with Hagan. Pasco's in the house with Catherine, Lakeland and Linda and Rock. Erica and St. Pete. Yeah, so I got the tan, Cindy, because I emceed the Gasparilla Festival, the Arts Festival, this last Saturday and Sunday, all day Saturday, all day Sunday, and I got some sun. And you know me, I'm not shy, and I know, as a Floridian, I need to be more careful with the sun, but I'm not. I need to be, I know it. Matter of fact, you may have noticed that Kyle posted on Instagram, had a little bit of skin cancer he had taken off of his nose. So he's going to have the patch on his nose for a while. So as a Floridian, I try to be responsible and encourage the use of sunscreen. And yet, you guys, you know, it's hard. Have I ever told you the story of the frog and the scorpion? This, if my kids were listening, they'd be like, "Oh, Dad." So, and we're going to get into the severe weather chances because it is minute for our area, not zero, but that is one of those recurring themes with my children that I've had for decades. And the story of the frog and the scorpion is once upon a time there was a frog and a scorpion, and there was a big hurricane coming, and they were stuck on an island. And the scorpion's like, "Hey, guy, can I get on your back and go across the river so we go to safety?" And the scorpion and the frog's like, "Why would I do that? Because if I do that, you're just going to sting me, and then we're going to drown." And the scorpion's response is, "Now, why in the world would I sting you? Because if I sting you, you're going to drown and I'm going to drown." And the frog's like, it's a valid point. I like your logic. So the scorpion says, "Okay, I'm going to get on." And the frog says, "All right, we're good." Halfway across the river, you know what happened. The scorpion stings him, and the frog is drowning. And as he's going under for the last time, the frog's like, "Why? Why did you do this?" And the scorpion said, "Because I'm a scorpion, and it's in my nature to sting, and there's not a thing I can do about it." And they both drowned. Now, the moral of the story is, you may debate the moral of the story is, you know, can a scorpion or a zebra change its stripes, so to speak? You know, I don't know the answer to that. But my point being, I am a sun lover. Always have been, probably always will be. Try to use my sunscreen at times, but as you can see, I fail miserably sometimes. Thanks for the stars. All stars donated to our Children's Miracle Network. I appreciate it. So we got lots of folks here, and Mark's like, "This is a good bedtime story." Okay, so anyway, Gaetana's like, "Where's the storm?" All right, well, we'll talk about that. You know what else I want to talk about after we talk a little about the storm? I want to talk about your TV viewing habits. And I'm going to talk weather first. Well, not first. Clearly, frog and scorpion trumped it. But, so I am not a big TV watcher, like hardly at all. But lately I've been watching some TV shows, and I binged The White Lotus, season 1 and 2, and I'm on 3. I'm not a fan. I'm not. And I know people love that show. And Wendy Ryan loves that show. But I don't know. To me, I watch it, and it's just nothing but unhappy people. And for some reason, I'm not getting it. And like I said, I binged it. I binged Game of Thrones. I binged the entire Game of Thrones in 3 weeks. Loved it. You know, but I don't know, White Lotus for me, it's not doing it. Yet I know a lot of people love it. All right, anyway, let's jump into some weather. And you can tell me why I'm right or why I'm wrong. Because I'm thinking a lot of people think I'm wrong because people love the show. Yeah, now Sarah is telling me to watch Ted Lasso, and a lot of people have said that I have not watched Ted Lasso. I actually did watch, I watched Paradise, and that just ended last night. Interesting show. I would not give any spoilers away, but I kind of liked it. Anyway, let's talk about the weather. All right, so, okay, we're going to do a dual screen because I got some stuff to talk about with this. First of all, you may have noticed today was a very windy day, right? I'm going to give you a little Meteorology 101 here. If it is January or February or March or even April, all right? And if in Florida, if you have a strong southerly wind, like it's gusty out there, like it was today, you can rest assured there is a cold front on the way in the next 24 hours or so. Because that pressure difference between high and low pressure is what causes that wind. Air travels from high pressure to low pressure. The bigger the difference in the pressure difference, the stronger the wind will be, which is why hurricanes are so windy. Because you've got strong low pressure. You've seen us say how many millibars a storm is. Oh, a hurricane is 954 millibars, you know, or maybe 970 millibars. Well, average sea level pressure is 1,010, 1,011. So when you have a larger the difference in the in the pressure disparity, the stronger the wind will blow. Real simple. With a cold front coming in, lower pressure, inevitably, if you have a southerly wind in our area and it's those 3 months and it's a strong southerly wind, you got a front coming in. You just do. All right, so there was your little weather lesson of the day. And I see you guys are talking about White Lotus as well. Yeah, I'm just, you know what, Tiffany? I am going to address that. I'm going to address that. And this is a fine line, but it's something that I think deserves to be addressed. A lot of people have asked me what my thoughts are on the firings in NOAA and NWS. And I mean, I think it's a legitimate question. And it's one that I think, you know me, I do not do politics. I will not be talking politics, and nor will you, or that happens. But it's a discussion that I think we can have in terms of, regardless of the reason, regardless of whether we like it or not, how would it be impacting certain areas? The answer is, at this point, we don't know yet. Flat out, we don't know yet. Because we all know when it comes to policies, regardless of what administration you're talking about, again, I do not talk politics, but you often hear what's going to happen, and then sometimes that differs to what actually does happen, or is there something met in between? Now, there have already been people who have lost their jobs in NOAA and NWS. And I mean, here's the bottom line. The bottom line is, as you would expect to hear from me, anyone, I have sung the praises of the National Weather Service in Ruskin as loud as any praises I have ever sung from a Weather Service or NOAA organization. They're amazing, and I've worked with a lot of them over the decades. Great meteorologists. So obviously, the thoughts are, if you are losing some people from that organization, at the very least, it's going to make more work for the people who are there. And worst case scenario, we are going to lose potentially some of the quality forecasting and coverage that we have been known to receive. Now, how will that impact modeling data? How will that impact hurricane hunters? I really, truly believe the answer is we don't know yet. And I also truly believe that I don't think we've heard the last story on who will be impacted and who won't be impacted. Because again, and I'm not talking politics, but usually it's the way it works. You hear like this, there's always negotiations that come into play. And where it lies in the middle, I think we're going to find out at one point or the other. But obviously, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to think if we're losing people from NOAA or the Weather Service, meteorologists aren't going to be happy about it. Because we feel as though our forecasting, our modeling is getting better year in and year out. You take some people away from that, you have to figure that's going to have an impact one way or the other. To what degree, I do not know. In what degree the National Weather Service in Ruskin has been impacted, I do not know. I'm sure they've been told. I have not been. But I think at some point we're going to find out. And then hopefully it won't be a massive impact, because I think we need people during hurricane season. I just think absolutely positively we do. So, all right, anyway, that's as far as I know. That's as far as I say. But obviously, the last thing we want is to lose people who are quality modeling and quality meteorologists as we approach hurricane season. I think we can all agree on that, right? But how will it impact me? Don't know the answer. Being straight with you, I do not know. I'm sure at some point we will. All right, so let's go back, and there is a look at radar. Right now, New Orleans is getting rain and getting thunderstorms. And who said, all right, wait a minute, stand by. I got to scroll up to see who said talk about weather. All right, I'm going to say this again. Let me use an example that you can understand, okay? Let's say I come to your house, all right, and I'm a guest at your house, and you're talking about your children, and I look at you and say, talk about the movie you saw yesterday. you'd be like, no, I'm talking about my children. It's my house, and I will talk about what I want to. So I don't know who wrote it, but if you've been in this group long enough, you know we don't tolerate shenanigans or tomfoolery or rudeness. We just don't. It leads to this. So I will get to weather. Oh, boy, David, that's very kind of you. Oh, you're a Penn Stater, no less, too. Awesome. Yeah, but I'm feeling aged. I'm truly feeling aged. Where did that talk about weather come from? Come on. Where is it? I got to see it. I got to see where they are. I'm not going to ban you. Sean! What's up, my man? Yeah, we got the 540 line getting close, and we're gonna talk about it in just a second. All right, so anyway, so I brought up, as I said, how impacting NOAA, and that's the last I'm going to talk about that. And if you want to stay in this chat, it's the last you'll talk about it too, in terms of political bickering. I don't tolerate it. You're instantly gone, and you'll be gone forever. Okay? So there you go. All right. Oh, yeah, let him go elsewhere. That's exactly what I wanted to see, Beth. That is a beautiful thing. Okay, anyway, let's get back. Trust me, I will scroll up after this, and they will be gone. Okay, because we do not accept that. We just don't, right? Heather is very kind. All right, so there's a look at radar. There is a tornado warning up around Hattiesburg, Mississippi right now. So I was talking to my son, who's a doctor in New Orleans, and he said, and by the way, New Orleans right now, they're getting some of this, but the folks in New Orleans, the city officials and whatnot, they actually bumped up the timing of the parades and the celebrations, knowing full well that this was going to come in. So, I mean, if we loop the last 3 hours here, there were tornado warnings west of downtown. At this point, we are seeing, some warnings, some severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings east of Hattiesburg. That's where most of the energy is. And fortunately for us, and unfortunately for them, most of the energy, here's the way this works out. Let's get back to a little bit of Meteorology 101 here. So as you have the energy riding north along the front, which creates the severe weather, that will continue to ride northeast along the boundary. The boundary itself is still getting pushed because remember, a front, by definition, think of the movie All's Quiet on the Western Front. Fronts in wartime are just collision zones between two boundaries. The good guys and the bad guys usually, right? The north and the south, whoever it is. Well, in weather, it's the same thing. A front is nothing more than the collision between two air masses, usually hot and cold air masses. The stronger the difference, the bigger the contrast, the more volatile that interaction will be. So as you have energy riding along that front, lifting away from the boundary, it will minimize or at least lessen the severity of that boundary. So as we are showing you right here, as I'll take it full, those tornado warnings are moving northeast, whereas the energy from Biloxi south is significantly more stable. So the point is, less likely to have widespread severe weather, but you see that little yellow area that just was issued right there, that is a severe thunderstorm warning. So with the tornado warnings from Waynesboro back to east of Hattiesburg over the last half hour, you can kind of see that's pretty vigorous. And there are tornado watches in effect in this entire area, which, as you all know, we've talked about this many times. The difference between a tornado watch and a tornado warning is the same between a taco watch and a taco warning. A taco watch is when you have your tomatoes and your lettuce and your cheese and your meat and your shells, all in different stuff, right? That's the watch. The taco warning is when you have a really tasty taco and you're ready to eat it. It is there, it exists. So a tornado warning, it exists. A watch means conditions are favorable. Jill, thank you very much. Again, as always, thank you for stars donated to Children's Miracle Network. Bottom line, to answer your question, the threat of severe weather for our area is extremely low. extremely low. Is it 0? No. But it's pretty darn close to it. And Cindy, yes, that will make it to the Carolina fires with some rain. Probably not enough, but there will be some rain. The temperatures right now in the 70s. Again, I talked about all that wind out there. It's a very common occurrence. Southerly wind at this time of the year or southeasterly wind, if it's gusty, you know darn well a front is on the way. I want a taco too, Don. I'm with you. Man, you know what? And I like junky tacos. I won't give the names, say the names of the places, but I used to, when I lived in Salisbury, Maryland, I drove an hour one time to get to Dover, Delaware to get Taco Bell because there was no Taco Bell within an hour's drive. And I drove an hour just to get to Taco Bell. So sometimes you got to make a run for the border. Sometimes you just got to do it, and I did. But I'm not going to lie. I do like homemade tacos are just so much better. All right, so 76 right now, partly cloudy, southeast winds. Remember we talked about this earlier. That gusty wind out of the south this time of the year always means that we are having a front coming in. Enough moisture for a few inland showers this evening, not too many. And then tomorrow morning, there comes the front. Now, this is the way, thank you very much, Bubba, very kind. As I said, this is the way it plays out tomorrow morning. You will not get more than 45 minutes of rain at any given point, all right? It is not a big deal. There's 8 o'clock, still windy, 9 o'clock, all right? 10 o'clock, look how thin this band is. Man, I'm telling you, this is nothing more than a half hour to 45 minutes of rain with a couple of downpours. It's no big deal. Now, I'll show you this SPC's take on it in a second, but look, I'm not going to say there's a 0.00% chance of rain. Of severe weather, but it's less than 5%. So there's 10 o'clock, there's 11 o'clock, there's 12 o'clock. Now, every now and again, you might get a little renegade cell. We call it a discrete cell, and that can spawn a water spout or a brief tornado. It is always possible, but it is not a major concern. I'll say that again. Most folks will get no more than a half-hour shower out of this. That's it. We need more than that, for that matter. That's noon. There's 1 o'clock. Remember, the energy's pulling north, right? We already said that, so the front will weaken the farther south it goes. And you see this, the models is showing that. 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and then it's gone. So you're talking from about 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. northern counties. If there is a strong cell, it would likely be coastal Pasco, Hernando, or Citrus. But I'll say it again, I just don't think it's a big deal. I just don't think it's anything to worry about. All right, and then we get cold. Now, how do we define cold? We'll touch on that in just a second. Paula, again, thank you very much, very kind. All stars go to Children's Miracle Network. Probability of hail, northern counties, extremely low. I'll show you that map on SPC in just a second, though. Good question, Jerry Cat. All right, there's the thread. A scale of 1 to 5, well, I guess technically a scale of 0 to 5. 1 to 5, the green area is 1. That's a less than 5% chance. But Bruce, we're going to have a 1-day chilly forecast. Now let's talk about that a little bit, all right? When it's January and February, look, thank you, Bubba, again. When it's January, just wondering about Brooksville, we live in an RV park. No concerns, Bubba, you will be fine. Gusty winds, maybe 30 to 35 tops. Nothing to worry about. All right, let me stress this, all right? When it's January and February, when we get a cold snap, like Sean knows, with the 540 line, which we'll show you that in a second, we might have a 3-day stretch of cold weather. In March, it ain't gonna happen. It's never more than 1 day, period. Never more than 1 day. So we are not done with our cold fronts, but we are done with our extended cold snaps. We are done with our extended cold snaps, all right? So when we look at chilly air on Thursday, there it is. The high temperature will only be 66 degrees. Valerie, it's gonna rain in Riverview tomorrow around lunchtime for about 30 minutes. Oh, Paula's having taquitos for dinner. So a 1-day cold snap, 66 on Thursday, 76 on Friday, 80 on Saturday, and another front Sunday into early Monday. All right? And again, as you see, a one-day deal. But look at the warm-up thereafter. Thank you, Haya, or is it Hia? Appreciate it. Again, all stars go to Children's Miracle Network. And Feeding Tampa Bay, we've actually been splitting it up. So, because they lose the push, Bill, remember, a front, good question. A front is nothing more than a dividing line, a collision between a cold air mass and a warm air mass. In March, cold air masses do not travel as far south. So the push, which is the cold air, lifts more northeast as opposed to southeast. You lose the push and the front fizzles out before making it down there. Good question. All right. See, we do talk about weather, but we talk about other stuff. So for those folks that are, we're going to talk about weather. Look, we'll get to it when we get to it. And we will always get to it. And, you know, there it is. All right, so are we still in a drought? Yes, we are, Mike. Matter of fact, Mike, since you asked that question, I will give you that answer graphically. You know you would get a graphical look at it. Here's the latest drought index updated on Thursdays. Still a severe drought. Pasco, western Pasco, Hernando, northern Pinellas. Moderate drought in the other orange area, yellow abnormally dry. So we are in a drought because as we expected, we did not, last year we had an El Nino and we got a lot of rain, and it was not the case this year. Okay, briefly going to talk about hurricane season as well. Streamers are gone in about 3 minutes. So there's a look at the boating forecast. Gusty tomorrow. Do not go out on the water in the morning or early afternoon. It's too windy. South winds 20 to 25 knots. Seas 4 to 6 feet. Rough on the bay. So, Jody, you keep being hidden, and I don't know why. It's driving me crazy. I don't understand. You should not be hidden. I don't know what's happening with you. All right. So there's a look at the beach forecast. The rain between 10 and noon. And look, sunshine by late afternoon. By the way, did you guys hear daylight saving time starts this week? You're like, what? Daylight saving time starts on Saturday night. We are already back to spring forward, losing an hour's sleep, gaining an hour's sunshine in the evening. So Monday morning, getting the kids ready for school, it is going to be dark out. So remember that if you're driving Monday morning, it is going to be dark for the kiddos. I cannot believe, no, you're not hidden, Priscilla, I see you. I just can't believe it's already daylight saving time. Anyway, there's the 7-day. Rain tomorrow, 10 to 2 time frame, and then another front Sunday into Monday. All right, let's quickly look at the models. And here is a look, Sean, who loves our 540 line. All right, so there is the storm that's swinging the front through, but look how far north it is. It's in the Great Lakes, and look where it's moving, northeast. So with the low pulling away, the front disintegrates because that takes the cold air with it. There's your 540 line to central Alabama, Sean. Central Alabama, Thursday. 540 line makes it into South Carolina. So there's that chill in the air that we're going to have. 540 line is the freezing line, rain snow line, for folks who don't know. Friday, the low lifts north. We're sunny, quickly warm back up, and then the GFS brings another little system with a chance of some showers on Sunday into Monday, but not nearly as cold. Look at where the cold air is up in the northeast. And then we warm up. And we and that's 10 days out. Let's look at the Euro quickly. Tomorrow, there's your low. Great Lakes, just like the GFS, front comes through. 540 line, not as far south with the Euro. Well, yeah, it is, South Carolina. Still South Carolina 540 line. Friday, 540 line lifts. Saturday, just like the GFS, little system. The Euro is a little more bullish with low pressure development in the Gulf on Sunday, but no cold air behind it. See that? Storm Prediction Center, the risk of severe weather. It is not zero, but it is very low. Now, Jacksonville, it's up to a slight chance in the northeast part of the state. All right, so we're going to continue for a couple of minutes on Facebook. Streamers, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I will mention, Susan, I will update you again for that question in just a second. Have a great night, and we'll see you on our next edition of Dennis Phillips Live. Okay, so Susan had asked for when did severe storms come in? I will say this again. I don't think we're going to get severe storms. There is a really small chance, and you see right here, Storm Prediction Center has us in a very low marginal chance of severe weather. If you want to look at this, see what they say about it. Georgia and Florida. So this is from the mid-Atlantic into Georgia and Florida. Remnant convective band potential QLCS will likely be ongoing Wednesday morning. Moistening and modest destabilization will support some intensification as this moves eastern through the Carolinas. But see, again, that's where more of the energy is. But for Florida, other strong to potentially severe storms will be possible from eastern Georgia into the Florida Peninsula, primarily early in the day before connection moves offshore. So again, that makes sense because the earlier in the day it is, the more energy is relatively close by. The farther you go into the day, the low lifts north and takes the energy along with it. All right, Susan in Hudson, how you doing? How will you be in the Bahamas on Friday? Linda wants to know. A little windy, but not bad. Not bad at all. People asked about hurricane season. All right, so we will be at a neutral. We will not be La Nina or El Nino, will be neutral. I would expect when the numbers come out, if I were a betting man, I usually am. I am. I would say, realistically, NOAA is probably going to come out with 15 to 21 named storms is my prediction, what they're going to go with. They release it end of May. But that's my prediction. I think NOAA is going to come up with 15 to 21. I think Colorado State will be 16 to 20. So fewer storms. Here are the factors that are coming into play right now. Fewer named storms likely, based on being more in a neutral between El Nino and La Nina. Water temperature is actually down a little bit in some spots of development, in prime development spots. Now, there's still some very warm water in the loop current in the Western Gulf. There's still some, it's way too early to know if anything would impact, what the odds are an impact on the U.S. And you guys know me, I don't buy that forecast anyway. I never have. But I will tell you that my gut tells me you will have fewer named storms. There will be more that will be developing in the tropical Atlantic. Remember last year we had all that Saharan dust, and that really limited the eastern Atlantic development. We had more Caribbean development. Long range, again, I take it with a grain of salt. I just think the areas that will be prone to development will be significantly different than they were last year. Doesn't mean we're not going to see some storms. But I will throw this out here. When you are in a La Nina, you get far more Caribbean developing storms. When you get an El Nino, you don't get them. All right? We're going to be skewing closer to El Nino this hurricane season. We're going to be neutral, but my point is, I would expect the number of storms developing in the Caribbean will be lower than this last year. And if there are fewer storms developing in the Caribbean, there likely will be fewer storms that go into the Gulf. That's an early thought process of what we're going with. All right? So, so that's, if that's the case, that would be good. All right? All right, guys, I'm going to have dinner with my son. I have not seen Shay for a couple of weeks, so I'm going to go grab dinner with him. I am still interested in you telling me why you like White Lotus or not. Again, I watched Paradise. It had the season finale last night. It's on Hulu. It's going to be on ABC starting next month. I liked it. Oh, now I'm a big Marvel guy, and tonight on Disney Plus, it's got an update on, what is this? Oh, nothing new. We have, hold on. wait a minute. There's the new series. Hold on, I'm looking at this. Comes out tonight at 9 o'clock. Yeah, Daredevil Born Again comes out tonight at 9 o'clock on Disney+. Probably a lot of you guys aren't a Daredevil fan. I was. I thought it was a really good show when it was on Netflix. And it's now out on Disney+. The first 2 episodes come out tonight. So, still watching White Lotus. I'm going to watch it even though I'm not really a fan. Finished Paradise. I'm watching Shrinking. That's been out for a while. I'm late to the party, as usual. I thought that's kind of interesting. But tell me what you think of some. I need to get on Ted Lasso. That's one I do need to pick up because I think, yeah, Charlie Cox is awesome, Cassie. I'm with you. I think it's a really, really good show. I love Daredevil. So I'm hoping that Disney Plus doesn't. Daredevil is a very dark comic. And Disney's been going with the dark a little bit. They've been, they're not shying away with the Punisher, and with Iron Fist and with, they definitely going a little more violent. And I think for some of those dark comics, it just makes them better. I'm enjoying them. So I'm looking forward to seeing that tonight as well. But yeah, I do need to watch Ted Lasso, Garrett. You're right. I do. So, Bridget, Harrison Ford's really, really good at it. I'm not quite done with season 2. I'm halfway done season 2 with Shrinking. So, all right, guys, have a great night, and I will see you on our next edition of Dennis Phillips Live. You guys have a good night. And if there's any severe weather tomorrow, I'll jump in, or Allie will, or Greg, or somebody. We got you covered if we get any watches or warnings coming up next week, or rather later tonight and into tomorrow, or next week too, or anytime. Have a good night, and I'll see you on our next edition of DPL. See you guys.